What are the most important things that you should look for when hiring a financial advisor? Today, we're going to look at many of the things from the collective wisdom of others before you that have hired or switched financial advisors. Hi, my name is Tommy Cloud, and I am president of Third Act Retirement Planning. It's a company that I started back in 2000. I'm also a certified financial planner. Okay, so what we're going to do is begin to actually look at what it is that people collectively value in a financial advisor. Take a look. You'll see basically here, it's pretty simple. The number one thing that the people are valuing is expertise and knowledge in financial planning and investment. So this makes sense, right? The expertise, you should be able to see that, their background, how long they've been in the business, and also their knowledge. And also what their specialty has been, what kind of area they've been working at. We'll look at that in a second. But for me, as an example, I grew up with my dad kind of being in this industry, but he invested more in tangible assets like real estate and precious metals. And then additionally, when I went to college, I studied finance. And when I got out, I got 4 or 5 advanced degrees. One of them would, of course, be the certified financial planner, as an example. And then I've been helping people with their financial planning, their wealth management with this business since 2000. I started this business in 2000. So you'll want to ask them exactly these questions, and they should be easy to understand, or you can just see them on your website. You don't have to sit there and drill them with questions. Nobody likes to be drilled with questions. Then the other thing is, are they going to give you a financial plan? That's number 2 right here at 16% and 54%. You can see that's very important. Are they going to give you a financial plan? And will this meet your goals of whatever it may be? It could be buying a second home, traveling internationally. It could be leaving an inheritance to loved ones or ministries. There are all types of goals that you may have, and they should be able to tell you also how long your money will last with your current budget, when you should retire. These are different questions that should be able to be answered when they're talking about personalized financial advice that meets their specific or your specific goals and needs in this situation. Then we get into number 3 is more about investment. When people are looking for financial planners, they want to make sure that the financial planner has the ability to understand their risk tolerance, or in this case, your risk tolerance, and appropriately aligned your investments, or my investments, as it says here. We have several risk profiles that we use here at Third Act Retirement Planning. Some questions that would be good to ask you as in determining your risk level would be things like your savings as a percentage of your income. How much are you saving per year? That's a great question. Other risks that you're taking with your job, businesses, real estate. What other risks do you have? Your overall knowledge of investments, prior experience with investments. How much have you done in investing yourself? Also, how much inflation protection do you have? Leveraged real estate or stock or gold, private equity, private credit. All those are considered inflation protection assets because as the government prints money, those will expand and typically go up in value. Deflation protection. That's treasury bills, for example, or treasury bonds. When we have contractions, typically treasury bonds will hold their value. We saw in 2008, gold actually held its value as well. And gold did it again in 2022. What about also, are you fully supporting your spouse? Are you fully supporting any children or partially? And how much risk do you need to take to meet your goals? That's another question that I think should be asked. And then, of course, another big one, and maybe one of the biggest ones, is your emotional tolerance. So many people make decisions on emotional tolerance as all the rest is going to be thrown out the window. We know for a fact that emotions usually drive decision making. It's not logic, not typically what's best for us. It's how those emotions are. You want to get into questions. For example, we'll ask clients, when I invest my money, I am equally concerned with not losing money and making money, and C, most concerned with making money. So those are just some general examples right there. There's many other, but risk tolerance, very, very important. And in fact, for most people that are hiring a financial advisor, it was the 3rd most important thing. So I'd say that's pretty important. Number 4, specialization in specific financial situations, such as retirement planning. With our particular firm, for example, we typically like to work with Christians that have suddenly received a large sum of money. It may be from winning a lawsuit, an inheritance, selling their business, NIL money, or even maybe they've been working for 25 years and now they're 59 and a half and they can finally access this chunk of money they have over in a 401k. And that's our specialization. But there's all types of specializations out there. Some people work with busy technology professionals or dual income families. There's all different types of different specializations that someone can master and serve in. That was the 4th most important thing when trying to find a financial planner, is specialization. specialization. Number 5, ability to communicate complex concepts in an understandable way. We are told by one of the wealthiest people that ever lived, King Solomon, I quote him often in these videos, that you want to know well the condition of your flocks. And in order for you to know the condition of your flocks, you must have a financial planner to be able to explain to you exactly what's going on, answer all your questions thoroughly so you could teach it back to someone else. That's the measure of how well your knowledge is. And you want to drill down and get to that point of knowledge before you move forward with anything else in your financial plan and your investments. So in other words, when someone else is asking you about your financial plan, you should be able to say, I'm in this because of this. This has this risk. This is for inflation. This is for deflation. This is what happened to this type of investment in 2008. You should be able to explain these things and have a good idea of why you're invested in what you're invested in, when you're going to retire, when you're going to do Roth conversions. And you should generally be able to answer these questions after you work with a financial planner. So going back over here to transparent fee structure and pricing, very important. I remember I took on a client years ago and he commonly will say, I'm so happy I know what I'm paying you. And I can't imagine you not knowing what you're paying your financial planner, but it's very common, particularly if you're working with brokers or commission brokers where they're getting paid from mutual funds or they're getting paid from annuities or insurance companies or any other third-party entity to manage your money or put you in different products. For us, we are only paid directly by our clients. I'm only paid by my clients and no one else. They see the money that they pay to me either directly or it'll come out of their statements in the investments that I'm managing for them. There's no doubt in their mind what they're paying me. They can easily calculate the percentages themselves. They know when it comes out and they know exactly how much it is. And if they have questions when they see my fees, they can call me and ask me any questions they want and I'll answer those clearly. And I think that's important. That's obviously number 5 here on the list for most people that hire financial planners. And remember, most people that hire financial planners are people that I would consider to be wise people. They're seeking advice. They have the humility to do this. So this group that we're looking at right now, the average person that hires a financial planner in wealth management is probably above average wisdom, if you will. So let's continue it. We're going to look at now trust and rapport established during initial meetings. That was important, but not completely important. That's just like a gut feel. I think you'll hear people say, trust your gut. Now, of course, I don't believe that. I don't believe we should trust our gut and the acids and the microbiomes in our GI tract or anything like that. I think that we should trust God. We should not trust ourselves. We should trust God and only God. And you can trust other people in your life, of course, but it's a different kind of trust that I'm talking about. And so trust and rapport established during meetings, it makes sense to me that it's below these other items. The next one on the list is ability to incorporate investment options that reflect my values. Not that important. I've found that a lot of my clients, they're not overly concerned if something's invested in this company's doing what or not. All corporations, they're people. They're just like churches. There's always going to be sin. There's always going to be problems because there's people. And this is going to happen until Christ comes back and takes us away to glory, and this earth is completely destroyed, and there is no more sin. Up until then, there's no point to try to avoid it for many people, and that makes sense to me here. Positive online reviews or ratings. Now, this I would have thought would have been more important, but I guess they're just saying maybe they could make up the reviews or whatnot, but most people aren't looking at positive reviews and ratings online, which I found interesting. Recommendations from friends and family. This is arguably the one that I found most interesting because most of our clients will come from referrals, and it has been that way. Most financial planners operate that way. To see that it was so far down the list, that was the biggest shocker for me, was that people are not looking for referrals from friends and family. I almost question if they answered that question honestly, but I guess it's true. I'm sure the results are true. And then the next one is the commitment to diversity and inclusion, making me feel comfortable and respected. I would have thought this would have been higher up. Everybody likes to feel respected. Ritz-Carlton's become one of the greatest hotels in the history of the world by the way that they treat people, the way that they treat their guests. Country clubs wouldn't be in business if people didn't want to feel respected. There wouldn't be one country club in business if people didn't want to feel respected. That's part of human nature, and that's how we are. We know that. And then we have this other one here, recommendations from other professionals such as accountants and attorneys. I would have thought this would have been higher too. Typically, when an accountant or an attorney recommends us, we have very little resistance to them doing business with us or even asking us a lot of questions. They tend to trust their accountants and trust their lawyers. So I would have thought that this one would have been higher as well. And let's look at the final one on here. Shares a similar background and cultural understanding. That is complete nonsense, quite frankly. I love everyone. I don't have a tree hugger personality. I'm not trying to offend anyone by saying that. It's just not me. I do have emotions. We all have emotions. Emotions are important. We were given emotions by God for a reason. However, this particular statement here shares similar background and cultural understanding. I can see why that's the bottom one, quite frankly. If you've enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe to our channel. We're putting out more and more videos that we hopefully will help you be a better financial steward of the money that God has entrusted to your care.